And welcome to the P114 Filmmakers podcast. This is season 2, episode 3. I'm your host, Jesse Knight.
I'm Aiden Ford.
I'm Tyler Schulte.
I'm Kat Holmes.
And we're here to talk about all things filmmaking. And today, the four of us went on this shoot last weekend for a short film that I was director of photography on called The Mark of the Nefarious. And long story short, it's about a sister harboring her troubled brother in a barn who sees this entity called the Nefarious, and to cut it short, the Nefarious kind of wins in the end, so to speak. So that's the kind of little short film we made. So I guess I can blab on forever, so I would like to open it up to you guys first and tell me some general thing. What were some impressions you have of going on that shoot? What hit you first? Whoever, there's no first, whoever wants to talk.
Ladies first.
Oh, hi, ladies. Okay. Gotta cross my legs. My first impression was this is really calm. It's not at all like the busy boom, boom, boom.
Right.
That you expect just from watching the
Behind the
stereotyped.
scenes. Yeah.
The hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, I think, to do was helping balance the cameras.
Right. Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, and it's hard.
It's so difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
Tiny little, it was a glide cam, a steady cam.
Okay,
By glide
it's
cam?
tilting 3 centimeters to
Oh,
the
jeez.
far left and right and in a 90-degree angle.
Even though it wasn't perfect, it was better than any other shoot I'd been on with that contraption. I bought that thing. It's worth like a lot, but a buddy of mine who wasn't using it anymore sold it to me really, really cheap. And I've been trying to use it successfully since then. But balancing that thing is a pain, But getting it there and even made it good for the shots and stuff like that, that's for sure. So yeah, balancing that Steadicam, that was kind of interesting. You don't have one here to work with, so it was a new device to try out. What'd y'all think?
I really enjoyed it. Like you said, it wasn't overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Everybody was really cool, welcoming. Like I didn't even realize I was talking to one of the Nefarious.
Right.
At first, I just thought he was, I was like, oh, this is one of the actors.
Yeah.
But he was just cool, hit it off well, and I enjoyed watching the process.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered how do the pros do it? What's the process? And got to watch the process.
It's the same way.
It's the same way. Made me feel a lot more confident. I was like, oh, it's not that bad. I could pull this off eventually in my career. I could do it.
Yeah.
And it was fun learning, and I didn't feel like work, which is what I was always hoping for. It was, am I going to enjoy this, or is this going to feel like work?
Right. Now, you had an interesting job that you kind of ended up fitting into, which was filling out camera reports.
That was
filling out the takes.
Very informative and very cool. And it again, I didn't really understand when we first did it. You introduced me to A, B, C. I was kind of confused at first. I was like, wait, what? Then as I wrote it,
it made sense.
It made sense, and I understood it.
And
I
the camera setup means a new letter.
Yeah. Every time you change, and I was like, oh, cool. And I learned that, and now I know it well.
Yeah.
And it was playtime, and it went by quick.
Right.
And then the food was fantastic.
It makes all the difference in the world.
Gained a good 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Want to eat that stuff all day.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And they let me take pizza home. I was like, thank you. I like filmmaking.
That's right.
But yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
All right, awesome. Aiden, what'd you think?
For me, it was natural. It was just like, even in my moments where I felt like I was kind of lost, I didn't feel so lost where I didn't feel like the people that were around me wouldn't get me out of it.
Right.
Which is a nice feeling, because when you're in a situation that, whether you know the situation, not every situation you get in, you've been through that same exact situation with the same exact people.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to have people that were very comforting and didn't make you feel like an idiot.
Right.
Because we've all been there. Even if you know what you're doing, like the back of your hand, you're gonna mess up.
Of course.
And thank God I didn't have that big of a failure on set, because I think there was a couple times where I was like a little lost, but other than that, like...
Oh, I was lost. It's okay.
Well, people can do that to you, and the situations can do it to you, and it's no one's fault. But filmmaking is so fun for me that I'm like him and her, like it went by so fast.
Yeah, it did.
I wish it had been longer, because I could have done it all day, even though my feet, I wanted to cut them off.
That third to last shot, it went. I thought that was never going to end.
Me too. Me too. You really start becoming kind of annoyed at that point, because you're like,
Right.
You're thinking about everything you want to do,
Right.
and not annoyed with anybody else.
No.
And you're not. And
It's just your own internal process.
I remember
Yeah.
Ledford was like, Mark, and I'm staring into space. I was staring literally into space, and I remember my eyes were on Emily at the time, and I didn't want her to think I was like looking at her.
Right.
Because God knows I wasn't. My eyes were just hit, and I was like, can't think.
That fake blood is distracting.
Yeah, I just was like, I'm so tired. But I would have kept going for another 10 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not
So-
recommended because you start like we were 12 is about the most you want to go.
How long? It was 12 was what we did?
Almost. We went from 8 a.m. to 8:45.
Wow. Felt
Almost
longer.
12
I'd say,
hours, yeah.
talking about the 9 takes that we took,
Yeah.
I remember when he did another one, I think it was the third one, was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he wanted another one, and I was like, all right, well, I guess he didn't like it. And then he wanted, after he got to
We
9,
kept adding
I
little
said to
bits
myself,
it. Yeah.
I said, well, why does he want more? It seems like it's fine.
And we worked our actors a little bit who'd like to work sequentially, but sometimes you can't. And
Yeah.
sometimes in the same coverage, you need to capture the beginning of a scene and the end of a scene.
Mhm.
There was one, I was trapped on and maybe I could have done it if I had one of you there who could have turned the LCD so I could have seen the image from this to this, Maybe we could have done it that way looking back on it. But, it's good for the actors too to have to change and think of some stuff like that.
But
to serve the shooting.
It taught me a little bit because me, doing free shorts with people, I've just been more flexible.
Right.
But I also realized maybe that's a bad thing too because you need to get it right.
Sure.
And
Sometimes,
I respected
yeah,
him
yeah,
for
yeah.
that. I said, well, he's wanted the way he sees it,
Yeah.
and he's not going to stop till he gets it. And I said
Right.
to myself, I need to probably learn and get better at that because I'm so easily I don't want people to be tired, because I
Sure.
I think too much for everybody. I feel like sometimes I'm like,
I
oh,
used to be
everyone's
like
tired,
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, honestly, you can't be like that in that position.
No, you can't. You
You
gotta
have
think
to
of
get
your
this
work.
right.
Yeah, and it was hard.
So,
It was
I was
hard
very,
too.
very glad to see
Like
that.
Davis Osborne really wanted us to break up that stuff so you could take it compartmentally, which is cool. We could have done it that way too, but there's something about it's so nice. You got the flow for the shot. Let's just get everything from this angle too.
Yeah, I see where he's coming from, but I do like the idea of it kind of feels like a oneer, or you know what I mean? Like
There's so much interesting
natural
stuff going on. You have him having the handcuffs happening in the foreground, and you got Davis. The only thing, looking back, hindsight's always 20/20.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we had gotten a medium or close up of David delivering his lines at the end when he puts his finger up in the air and walks
Yes,
away.
I was going to say the
I
same
wished we had gotten
thing.
that. I think we could have really
Same
used
thing.
it. I know Ledford's going to need it for the edit.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right.
But it'll work. It'll work as it is. That's fine. That's the only thing
I'm glad
I
you said
thought
that,
of
'cause I was
we
thinking
could
that.
have. Yeah, that we could have probably used.
Or
It
at least
works
just
as
a
it
zoom
is.
on the finger, or at least something,
Right,
to
a
just
little-
acknowledge that.
Yeah,
It'll really
For
get
sure.
Getting-
focused.
for sure. And I wish I'd thought then to push it, but we were
Yeah, pushing it.
But we did get some of that action from another point, and we did get the reaction shot of Kyle there that you can always cut
Which
to
was
for
great.
safety.
My question is, so if this was a big $1 million movie,
Uh-huh.
would we have gone? We would have gone to reshoot that then? Would have been something then?
It just depends.
It just depends. Because I keep
It
hearing about
depends.
the.
Awesome. Honestly, we were packing way more than you really want to in a day.
Mhm.
10 and a half, 11
Okay.
pages. The sweet spot, and funny enough, we haven't gotten the chance to work in the sweet spot, and I don't even know if Kill Giggles is going to be like that.
Okay.
But 6 to 8 pages is kind of nice.
Mm.
Then you can really take your time
Time.
with that setup. If there's something you need your actors to get, you can work and work and work with them and have a little
Cool.
more time and a little more space to do stuff.
Yeah.
But, we were sort of in a make our day situation. But we were lucky that we didn't have a whole bunch of locations to worry about or anything. Everything was right there.
That's smart.
Really just three,
Simple.
Yeah.
Barn.
The inside of that, and Jason decided to sort of negate the going from the barn door to the little opening there where he is. Don't really need it.
Mhm.
And he was wanting to get some interesting shots with that, but in the end, were they necessary to do? No.
No.
We didn't have the time,
I noticed we never did get the shot of Davis wanted to be on top.
Right.
What was that for? What was that?
Just to have is like sort of you see something down there and you just kind of pan up and there he is kind of looking over everything, you know.
I thought it'd be cool, but I remember he kept asking that, but they never got it. And I was like, man, I'm
or
sorry,
in the
Davis.
opening, it would have been neat to have Davis up in the other house at the top
or
something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Just kind of hidden in there like a Where's Waldo, but still he's there enough. You can see, you know, I don't know. But that was a really fun shoot, and most of our shoots, knock on wood, have gone fairly smooth like that, you know, and it makes all the difference when you got people that know what they're doing on set, and you know, chain of command is really important. If you got two people that are, you know, one's telling you one thing and another's telling you another, I don't know if you've ever had this, but
not yet,
it can suck.
Sure.
You know,
that's why I like listening to myself. I already have a hard time with Gemini. Okay, I got two brains. It feels like you know, like I need I love input, but I need to think of the idea. I need to think first and then have the input, but not having multiple, because it really confuses you, and you mess up that way.
Yeah, and you know, you need to have that one person that you go to follow orders. Chain of command is so important. You know, on bigger film sets, you'll see a little more of that. Like you got DP, but generally the DP will talk to the gaffer, who will talk to the key grip and the grips and electricians. You know, it's sort of like, you know, military officers almost in that kind of sense, you know. And right above DP is the director. DP and director kind of, you know, director's running it, it's their show, all that kind of stuff, but even above the director you got the producers, you know, the people who are directly tapped into the money. Yeah. And you know, and you're going to have variances of those relationships. You know, you've heard you read enough, you hear all the horror stories about, you know, producers and directors clashing and problems like that. You know,
it's funny you say that, because the producer was there, and I remember him. He told the director or something about, I want a little more blood or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that he's the one funding it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and his wife wrote it. He's definitely invested in that story, and he's the one who put all the pieces together. You know, we're just tools. A DP is a tool. You pick that tool to use to make the movie. You know. Also, though, that DP, if you get them for their skills, you want them to be in a way like a co-author. Your actors, in a way, are kind of a co-author. They take this written down character, but they make it work. Become that character. You know, which is what you want. You know, you want that. You know, it's pretty neat. And I was really glad y'all got to see a film set run, even though it was small.
That's what's so cool about it was small and overwhelming. It's the best way how I work. It's like a little ease, a little more. You know? Right. And I was able to, since there wasn't that many people, I was actually able to actually help and not just stand there and people like get out of my way. You know what I mean? Who
knows? We might end up on sets where people are rude or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. It's already happened to me.
Yeah, but you learn how to deal with it.
You have to deal with it.
You have to develop a thick skin, sort of.
Yeah. That's something I've gotten better, but I don't have.
It's tough. It's hard for me. You know, even in professional world, like if I get a whole bunch of notes from a client, I'm going to get that little hot fire that bubbles up first on the inside, and then it's like, okay, just forget about this. Don't be precious.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I'm not good with feedback, especially if it's in a not nice way.
Right.
If it's in a nice way, I can handle it.
Sure.
If it's not, you just lost me.
Right. I can take like very matter of fact, maybe non-emotional notes just fine. I'm like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, but if someone is going to be mean about it, that would make it bad.
That's what I loved about this, that I didn't have, there was never a moment where I felt disrespected or belittled, because I am the least cockiest person you'll ever meet.
Right.
But when it comes to something I love,
sure,
I'm not going to be cocky about it, but I'm going to take pride in it.
Yeah,
as you should. If you're like going to sit here and make me feel like I don't matter,
right,
that would have been a problem for me. Right. But I'm good at keeping my mouth shut for the most part.
I've been on other productions too where I didn't know enough, but I was still a valuable member, but the people running the show didn't know how to delegate orders. They didn't know how to run a set, and that was hard for me.
Really?
You know, because you'll end up with this a director DP who's getting mad that no one's moving lights around, but you know what? You gotta tell somebody to move lights around for them to move lights around. You gotta communicate.
Yeah.
You know, if you just stand there and act like you're better than everybody else, I'm sorry. You know, as you can tell, this is real. But,
sure.
You know, I'm sorry. yeah, you're mad, but you can't tell anybody what to do.
I like to see, that's the thing also is, like, I like to feel comfortable enough to say, hey, we should probably do this, without being that person that's in your ear saying...
That's funny, pull that comment, because remember I asked you about that shot? Because I was like, because you guys were, like, wanting to speed it up.
Right.
And I respect that you guys were like, oh yeah, it's not too bad of an idea, but... It didn't work with your story, but still, though, I respected it. And I was like, yeah, shut up, just go away.
But sometimes the suggestions are good. Had we, maybe on that third to last shot, had someone said something about maybe getting that, it might have been good. There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I respected it, though, because I was like,
yeah,
I'm just a little grip guy.
Right.
But everyone's
yeah,
like,
but
everybody could have been like, just shut up.
Like, we've done stuff together, like, we've done a lot of things together at this point, and that one time, there's been a couple good times, actually, you've suggested something to me, and it's not that I didn't agree with it, I was just like, that's not how I wanted to see it.
Right.
Or it's not gonna work.
Sure.
And that's so much more respectful if you're gonna be nice about it versus...
And then both sides, like if I'm get down with somebody and like talk about story, I'm coming up with new ideas, or like I got a script and we'll do it in class. Someone may give a suggestion, which isn't really what I want, but at the same time, that suggestion could be a catalyst for a train of thought that happens that does deliver what I want. And that happens a lot.
Right.
But it wouldn't have happened had you not heard that idea, or it would have happened too late, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, and just being receptive to that. Sometimes the guy running catering is going to know how to save your ass. It can happen.
Yeah.
In the movie Crypt, it was the guy who used to do Fast and the Furious, but he's talking about doing an episode of Miami Vice back in the 80s. And they had this scene where the Crockett and Tubbs, it's a dialogue scene and they're walking through a house. Well, that could be really complex with a lot of setups.
Yeah.
And the guy was running out of time to do it that way. And he was just in the catering line, like getting food, just worried about it. And the main guy at the catering happened to also have been a director in the past for episodics. And he told him, you should just put it on a dolly. Once you put the camera on a dolly, they can't stop your production. You get it up on there for your shot and just get it in a oneer. Take the time to do that, but you can cover that whole scene that way. And it was brilliant. They did that. It saved the day, and they made the day. And he talked to him a little bit. God, how'd you know about that? And he's like, I'm a director, and a long time ago, I didn't make my day.
Nice.
And so that was a neat little story. It was a guy who did Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
But it was one of his little tiny stories from back in the day, which was cool.
It's a good story.
So you never know.
No, you don't.
Now, that being said, you don't want to be the PA who's a complete asshole and just sort of like, hey, listen to me. It's like, there's a way you do things. That you got to read your audience. Some people it ain't worth like bringing up, but other people you might be able to. Yeah. If you're a PA, probably not. You probably shouldn't. But if you're a camera assistant, but you're right there with the DP, maybe say something to the DP, and that person can certainly, he can stop you and say, no, don't worry about that. Or they can be like, maybe I should. Yeah.
It can be a horrible.
Yeah, think about it though. I guess it wouldn't have worked because we were running out of daylight.
Oh, for the
shot I thought would have sped it up.
Yeah.
Because you had that one light that worked just for that one spot. So I don't know. You probably wouldn't. You would have to maybe follow.
But we could have definitely gotten additional coverage, which would have been nice for that final scene inside.
In my head, though, I don't know. You could probably picture. It would have been cool, like a cool movement.
Yeah. And it would have been cool had we set up like that kind of thing. I don't know. I would have liked that too.
Yeah.
It would have been neat. She's walking down the street and you see the cops pulling. They're going in, and then you're like, oh, they're going in.
Going in, and then you just have her walking by, and then you put it together.
Yeah.
I hate that we didn't get to read the script prior to the shoot because I really wanted to.
You can blame me.
I'm kind of glad though I didn't, because it was all new and refreshing to me.
Right. But I'm glad I had a copy for you guys to look at.
I started unraveling
it. At all.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Kill Giggles definitely hook us up though.
Right. Oh yeah.
When you get a chance.
I will. That'll for sure. You know,
Yeah.
with, of course, the director's
That'll be a very
permission.
cool
Of
moment.
course, yeah, whenever the time comes.
Yeah, and definitely, we may be so advanced on that, we'll actually have actual sides that come out each day. Have you ever heard of sides?
Yes.
Ah.
I know what you
Sides are itty bitty tiny little scripts of what you're doing that day. It's whatever scenes you're covering, they're putting tiny little booklets.
That's great.
Usually everybody
So much
gets
easier.
it so they can
That's
check
amazing.
the notes and all that. And that's an AD's responsibility,
Nice.
assistant director's responsibility. Who's also, it's their responsibility to do the breakdown of the script. They'll take that script, they'll go through it, and they'll divide up everything they need, and so they'll know what they need for every scene.
Cool.
Including actors, props, locations.
Aren't
all
they
that.
usually the ones that are in charge of what's going, like glass looks, the continuity?
They are on quote unquote real productions, and you have an AD. You're going to hear their voice
So much.
doing all the. They're the ones that are going to say sound
Yeah.
and camera and all that. They're going to run it. You know, the director will generally maybe say action and cut.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes the AD does that too, just depending on the relationship. You know, you really want that director to be focused on actors and the look. You know, you want them talking. The only people they really need to be talking to are actors and the DP.
DP.
You know, and you want that. You want that director just to be free to do their thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sort of like every part on set is kind of like that. You got your job. You know, and then if you go into like the stuff we do, we're multifaceted. Lots of different hats and all that. You get on an industry job,
Good.
you just make sure you touch the stuff you're supposed to touch. You know, if you're not a grip, don't touch a flag or C-stand. You get yelled at.
Talking about like a
Or
union.
sandbags.
Yeah, union chute, sandbags, any of that. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You'll be looked at sideways. And that's, I mean,
Unless
you
it's
can get
to
like
save
fired
someone's
too.
life, then you know.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
because there's like a fine line between,
Even those a grip touches the light, oh heaven forbid. You know.
yeah, and that's kind of similar to what it does. I mean, that's kind of like in the department we're taught that way. It feels
Right.
like it's the same thing.
And those are heavily unionized shoots and stuff. Now I've been on bigger stuff, $250,000 shoots. I was an electrician, but I'll be damned if I wasn't carrying sandbags and C-stands all day, you know, and setting up flag courtesies and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And taping up duvetine. We all did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's how that was.
Gotta
So
love
annoying.
I know it was.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I kept falling.
I know.
I laughed because
I was just happy we had people to do that.
he was like, he asked me to help him, and then I got distracted because somebody else asked me something.
Oh, yeah. Had we
And
had
I
real
totally
grip
forgot.
tape, we would
And
have
I
been better.
and I look at it, and I'm like, and I just see like there's like 30 pieces of tape that you put up there, and I just start laughing because I imagine Aiden going, hate this thing. Hate this
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And there was so much tape.
Had we had
Yeah.
actual grip tape, I think we would have been
I
better
know. I
off.
was trying to figure
It's like
out.
duct tape sucks.
Yeah.
Leaves that weird residue.
Yeah.
It's, just doing a time check. We got another like 8-10 minutes we can kind of chat on some. But it was cool. It gives you an idea, you know. I personally like to make movies when it's a little warmer.
I was gonna say that. I like the warm weather.
I love
I
it.
like the cold.
I like
I
warm.
was happy.
But, you
No,
know.
I was too. I can't. I hate sweating.
Right.
I was already sweating. I had to
Right.
like as soon as I got home that night, I took a shower.
Then you might want to avoid G&E in the middle of summer in South Carolina.
I mean, you know, I'll do what I gotta
Yeah,
do.
of course.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll definitely.
I'm going to the hot states.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
You get after a day or
Well,
two
you
of
adapt.
it, you get used to
I
it.
think it's because I was
It
raised
doesn't
in Florida.
bother you.
Because when I worked for 5 days as an electrician in South Carolina, we had to usually get in the cars at 7 a.m. Well, it's hot at 7. It's hot all day. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be profusely sweating for about 13 hours today and every day.
It actually
It
makes
sucks,
you
but
feel
you get used
better.
to it.
I
you know?
just-
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I worked in the sun, like as
Sure,
pool
you
service.
get used to it. You get used to it.
I
Yeah, good
like
tan.
it.
Absolutely.
I like the
Mhm.
warm.
Right.
Mhm. I was a lifeguard in Vegas for a long time, and you know, got used to heat. Different kind of heat though. than South
I will say I
Carolina.
don't like Puerto Rico heat, where it's sticky.
Right. Well, South Carolina is that way too. It's hot and humid, man.
I've heard about that,
100% humidity.
Yeah.
That took a while to get used to. Florida, oh god,
I lived in Florida, and
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
it being all right, but
cut through it with scissors, man. You
Man,
know?
Kill Giggles, we are gonna be sweating because that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be right there.
Oh yeah.
I can't wear short sleeves anymore because the
Sun?
bugs, the bugs and
Bug-
the sun.
oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get burned like that.
Right.
No matter what I do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we got tons of
sunscreen.
That. But a lot of our stuff, thank God, is interiors. We got some exteriors, but it's mainly people talking in rooms or people killing people in rooms.
Give me a tan.
And there's a lot of bunch of night stuff.
Do you have your makeup artist yet?
I think so. Oh yeah.
Which
we
one?
know tons of them. I'm not sure who he got, but we know like tons and tons and tons of them. Yeah. Most of them are good. Marisol's good. The person that led us on to Marisol, Angie Cotonou, is good too. Jennifer McCollum's great. We haven't worked with her yet. We've worked with several others though.
That'd be pretty cool if you had Jen.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Jason's got who he was. I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah. So, any other comments or anything else?
I just have one question about Kill Giggles.
Sure.
Is it how many people is this one going to be? Is it a little bigger?
It's much bigger.
Much bigger
than that. Yeah. Because you figure like even camera crew alone. Well, I'll definitely have a first and a second, and then we're going to also have a DIT person. Have you ever heard of that? DIT gets the cards from the camera crew, and they begin transferring the footage.
Oh, okay.
And organizing it. They might put it into bins for scenes
wow. Nice.
and nice things like that. If they got the time and you got dedicated DIT, sometimes they can even start doing like an assembly cut of your picture.
Yeah.
Just kind of stacking the shots kind of in the order on a timeline of what you want, you know. And assembly cuts, you just got to know, it's not going to feel like even a rough cut with an assembly cut. It's just kind of a glob. Sometimes you just take master shots and stack them in order, and then you can kind of go through and begin making your movie, you know, on top of that. You know.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Maybe DIT can do stuff like sync your audio, so you don't have to worry about that later. You know, it's already ready for you, you know. Yeah. Which is cool.
Could be a great learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this was going to be a lot more intense.
And on this we'll have a gaffer and a key grip, and under those people you'll have grips and electricians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we'll have more of that, which you guys will probably be in the ranks of. Y'all will be there, camera, probably, maybe both. We're an indie production, so there's might be a little bit of multi-hat stuff going on too.
Hold the flashlight.
A little bit of PAing kind of stuff, but you know,
yeah,
it'll be good. I just want to make sure that everybody on set are trained and stuff. One thing that drives me crazy is a bunch of people around that are spectators, but they're in the set. They're in my way. I get really irritated with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
You remember that when we did that movie and those kids come in there and they were watching us? The kids and the mom? They were doing a group.
Oh, yeah. Keep me away from them or I'll make people cry.
Oh, I was getting mad. I was laying on the floor trying to get a shot and I look over and there's just this mom and 10 kids staring at me. It felt like. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I'll be yelling at my producer, why isn't the set locked down?
Yeah.
Right in front of them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think of it to look at me, but if people needed somebody gone, I was who they would be like, go.
No, I
it.
do. I do. I know you.
I can believe it.
Yeah. Cat is the crouching tiger.
Right.
Very cute and cuddly and fluffy looking, like, you know, very pretty.
Right.
Not like that, but you know what I mean.
But on point.
But like,
Yeah.
get you.
And that was the thing too about the shoot. Everybody's on point. It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't have to ask too much if something needed to be done. It was usually already taken care of. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That's a good feeling is when you're getting your job done right, you know. And I was super proud of all of us, you know, for us being like students and I don't care if I had done 10 different sets before this.
Right.
It doesn't make me a pro, so I was proud of myself equally.
I don't even consider myself a pro.
I don't think well, I mean, that's neither here nor there, but you know what I mean. So it's like I was super proud of our hard work and all we accomplished.
Right on.
We didn't royally fuck up.
No, we didn't.
I didn't do anything stupid usually like I do.
Yeah, I was proud. I was very proud.
I made sure.
Because you had a
I was like,
playmate.
I know. I was talking about his new playmate, Alex. Was Alex?
I'll
right?
rust my
He's
bro.
a gem.
Oh yeah. He was
My
awesome.
mini
He was
me.
great.
Yeah, he was quiet.
He had the director dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that stuff.
Oh yeah, I love Jason Ledford. He was super awesome. I like his personality a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very calm.
You
Yeah.
can always trust somebody with a ponytail.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's my brother from another mother, pretty much.
I can tell that he really cares about you, and you guys have been good friends for a long time.
10th grade. We knew each other in 9th grade, but we weren't really friends then.
Yeah.
10th grade, we were like, all right.
He's the one that went to film school and then left and then came back, right?
He went to regular school with me, and then went on and just worked, and then he came back to school and just like rocketed it.
Nice.
Like 4.0 flat across, all that kind of stuff.
He's a teacher at Western.
He is an instructor and their equipment tech.
Cool.
That's a full-time position there. They got, Western's a cool place to tour. They got nice facilities and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. It sounds like where you're going with the Reds. I'm like,
Liberty's got it now.
Great stuff.
Liberty, at first it wasn't a big thing, but they've built it now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty solid school.
Yeah.
They got 2 Reds.
Mm-hmm.
They got the editing studio.
Right.
Like the room with it, and
imagine they got some DSLRs for people
They
to
have
learn on
DSLRs
and stuff. Yeah.
They have a good big green screen,
Good.
editing room, and then they have a sound room.
Mm-hmm.
And they tore me out where there's nothing you can hear. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So they had that, but I was really impressed with it.
The smelly box over there.
Right.
Yeah, like that. What really impressed me was they have a $2 million sound theater.
Right.
Where it's like, I forget the name of these
It's
theaters.
for the mixing and stuff.
They're like, when you put a movie in, like they put, what was it? Tron? And I don't really like that movie, but I wanted to watch it because
The
the
new one?
sound. Yeah. The sound and the room shakes. And it's like the best sound.
They have good equipment.
And oh my gosh, like I was like, can I just play a short film on here just to see how it sounds?
Yeah.
But
I don't care.
I'm excited.
I don't care. I mean, I'm super happy for you, but like, I want to be where, as long as they're making a lot of stuff, that's how you're gonna get me.
Yeah.
But that's the second one I would want the
Let's
most.
say the big
Having
aspect
good
because
stuff.
I called a buddy who goes there and he's a screenwriter.
Right.
And he left because he said it's not really much about screenwriting, but he told me, he said, if you want to learn to direct, he said give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
like they do a
I'd like
lot
to
of
build
production.
upon that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try that.
Good.
But
Awesome.
that's why I'm here right now, writing screenwriting.
Yeah.
I'll be all ready.
This will give you a good start.
So then I can just go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Anything else?
The food was great, by the way.
Yeah. The food was.
I ate a lot of
incredible.
those rolls.
I ate a lot of the chicken.
Yeah, I
don't
did
even.
too.
I was
because
rolling.
I was
I
addicted
had like
to that stuff.
6.
I went home and I lost 4 pounds.
Are you serious? I didn't feel like
I gained, probably. The pizza was good.
Yeah. I feel like I gain and lose weight from one picture of me to the next.
Right?
Even in the same day.
I know. My waist is tight. Is like I could fit these jeans a lot better than I did last week.
Same day as like. Yeah.
It's so annoying.
And on that note, I guess we're done. Tune in next week when we got more stuff to say. Bye, everybody.
Bye.